And we are live. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 1251. Today is Monday, November 18th, 2024, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. In today's top stories, Senator Lummis says Treasury should convert gold for Bitcoin reserve. I put most of my wealth into Bitcoin, so I am fully committed, says RFK Jr. MicroStrategy buys $4.6 billion of Bitcoin as price hits new highs. No apology can undo the damage Gary Gensler has caused, says Tyler Winklevoss. And Dogecoin investor lawsuit against Elon Musk has been dropped and more. But first and foremost, let me go ahead and take a quick look at these prices. And really quick, I don't know what is going on with the live today. So I had to go back and add in this description and stuff. I know it's just being a little janky right now, but I'll figure it out here in a little bit. But good morning, good morning, morning. Welcome to the show. Let me go ahead and pull up these prices. Looking good. Bitcoin is at $90,635, up 0.39% on the 7 days, up 9.75%. Ethereum at $3,092, up 0.25%. Number 4, Solana at $242, up 4.24%. Number 7, Dogecoin at 36 cents, up 1.17%. And number 10, Tron at 20 cents, up 4.24%. Fear and Greed Index is pretty high, so at 82. Bitcoin dominance at 58.78 and Ethereum dominance at a 12.21. So those are your prices on the day. There was almost a slight dip yesterday, but the news, which we'll be talking about, that MicroStrategy buy of those billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, definitely bolstered the price point again. Everything's looking great coming into this week. Looks like I'm not going to be covering it, but it looks like a lot of ETF inflows hit some weekly highs at the end of last week, going into this week as well. So the price is looking good. Get some quick shout outs: Bird Music Group, Wisdom Bars, Junior Maley, DM Carr, Magnolia, Pelican, Bitcoin, Madam Hyben, Smitty Farms, Timidin, Power of Nine, Nerd Up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What up, though? All right, let's go ahead and take a quick look at some good stories. The market is doing great. I mean, the market is going to be the market right now. Can't complain there. Senator Lummis says it is time to press the button to pamp it. Senator Lummis says Treasury should convert gold for Bitcoin reserve. This, as what we've been talking about from day one, people, is that Bitcoin becoming an actual reserve currency like gold. And once that happens, that is when you will start seeing Bitcoin becoming worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and not millions of dollars, because not only will it become a reserve currency for us, but every other country would follow suit. The United States government has the biggest gold reserves in the world, with over 8,000 tons of the precious metal on its balance sheet. Again, you can't take gold into outer space. You can't move gold the way you can Bitcoin, and it looks like it is official. Bitcoin is here to stay. Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis is advocating for the United States Treasury Department to convert a portion of his more than 8,000 tons of gold holdings into Bitcoin to establish a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Again, better late than never, but could you imagine if we'd done this years ago? I mean, back when Bitcoin was just like a few $1,000s, we had time at the time. Back when Goldman Sachs, Dino of the Day, Jamie the Dino Diamond, was saying that Bitcoin was fraud, and Mark Cuban was saying, bananas would be worth more than it. Could you imagine we did it then? But Lummis told Bloomberg that by converting gold certificates held by the U.S. Treasury into Bitcoin, the immediate effect on the U.S. government's balance sheet would remain neutral, as opposed to spending about $90 billion to purchase the Bitcoin at current market prices. This is a great thing to see. What will be interesting to see is if she can actually convince the government to do this, and then what would happen if we were to go into like a 2-year or 3-year bear market, like as far as how the government would feel, because it would be that big dip, even though seasoned Bitcoiners and holders know, hey, this isn't going to last forever, whatever. This is just part of the process, but it would be a huge dip to see. So it would be kind of scary. And yes, Power of Nine said do the opposite of what people like Jamie the Diamond Hand says. I will say this, talking about doing the opposite, the fervor right now is making me feel like we are at a top. I know it's so much more to go, but it just makes me feel like we're almost at a local top because the fervor is getting crazy. Let's see what else we have. Is the U.S. government Satoshi with those 200,000 Bitcoin? I mean, I wonder, right? Is it part of the government? Is it the government? Who knows? Who knows? But Senator Lummis is definitely trying to make this a part of the reserve, the Federal Reserve or the Treasury strategic Bitcoin reserve. So that'd be pretty cool to see. Speaking of this, I'm going to stay on government right now. I put most of my wealth into Bitcoin, so I'm fully committed to it, says RFK Jr. He's a longtime Bitcoin advocate, praising its power to transmute current inflation. I would say this. For those who saw the fight this weekend, shout out to John Jones. He's still undefeated heavyweight division for the UFC fight, but you had presidential-elect Donald Trump at the fight. You had sitting next to him Elon Musk, Dana White. Who else was there? I'm trying to think. Oh, RFK, of course, Jr. While I'm not sure if he was there, he's of course, a big part of Donald Trump and what he's doing as he's been appointed to his cabinet, or he's trying to get him elected to his cabinet, or whatever. My point is, there are a lot of Bitcoiners and crypto folks, especially with the UFC. People are trying to set their contracts in it. They have crypto sponsors. They've been open to it, of course. The UFC has always done things alternatively. They haven't had to stick to the status quo. I think even like VeChain has been sponsoring them for a while. So my point is, you have all these powerful people who are like pro Bitcoin, pro crypto, who are about to have the reins of the federal government for the next 4 years. And by the way, a lot of these same people have been under the microscope, whether it been breaking or accused of breaking traditional laws, financial laws, or whatever. So not saying that this is a pro or a reason why they're going toward Bitcoin, but the technology of Bitcoin and crypto definitely intrigues them in some of their camps. So I think this is all good news for our market right here. So just going back to RFK Jr., again, he's now a current cabinet nominee. That's what it is. He has made a statement saying he invested most of his wealth in Bitcoin. This is the current independent candidate described Bitcoin as the currency of freedom in a November 16th online post, reiterating the digital asset's power to hedge against currency inflation. In a recently resurfaced video, he said, "I'm a huge supporter of Bitcoin. I was here a year ago at the other Bitcoin conference. I went home and put most of my wealth into Bitcoin, so I'm fully committed." Now, one thing I will say about all these people who are huge Bitcoiners and crypto, whatever, that are now entering the, I guess, the federal government and political positions, things may change once they read more things and get security clearances, right? Where maybe like they thought a certain way, and then you get shown like, hey, we get what you're saying. Maybe we like Bitcoin too. But if every American were to have Bitcoin or whatever, this would be the impact on whatever. I don't know, right? And it may be some negative consequence. So maybe they see something behind closed doors where they change their tune. But if it stays the same as we've seen it so far, and I mean, more to see come January, because right now the market is being very speculative. Everybody's hoping and assuming that the federal government with Trump leading the reins will be pro Bitcoin and pro crypto. But as pardon me, but as I'm having a brain freeze right now, as Reggie pointed out last week, he was saying, of course, Bitcoin's been hijacked and all this good stuff. But also Jay Clayton, who's been like a nominee or a person whose name's been thrown in the hat as one of the bigger positions out there. It could be more of the same as well, right? It could be some reshuffling of the deck, but more of the same. So remains to be seen. This is why I say still a speculative environment right now. The technology still works, but as far as what the American government is going to do as far as being pro and con, it's still super speculative on that end. What do I say about XRP? What's going on, Sashimoto Black? Just a temporary pump or a long-term play? I never truly believed in it, but my fellow friends swear by it. So essentially, I would say if this was like old Bitcoin and crypto, I would say like before Segway type of deal, my thought process was like, hey, there's no need for XRP, especially thinking that by this time I thought the governments would have their own blockchains or their own Bitcoins or cryptos that they liked and really would utilize. Now I've seen there's enough room for everyone. I mean, how many cryptocurrencies are there now? Just off the top of my head, it has to be like 100,000, right? And with XRP being one of the older ones now, relatively an OG, if you will, with a working blockchain and a working system and the community around it, and I mean, just developers and so many positive things going for it. there's no reason why they still can't fit in and probably will continue to fit in for next 10, 15, 20 years, especially when you look at smaller and developing markets. Let's say you're not looking at the United States or the Russias and stuff. Let's start thinking smaller where you say, all right, what about this island country? What about this second world country or this developing country? Yeah, like maybe they have a ton of capital or capitals coming from Russia or China or Australia, the US for this specific region or country. Now it does make sense to have XRP come in to where they already have things working. They can show you exactly how to get this started. And from there, you can build on your own. But you start with them. So, and they have a marketing team, I'll be honest. I mean, they have people on, at the conferences, setting up booths, making phone calls. So long term, I still say they have some juice left to be squeezed. But as far as it being like the future of everything, no. I mean, there's still always be competition. So every year, I think, while they'll still have ways to increase market share, they'll also kind of dwindle because their competitors will get bigger. But they're still good right now in the next couple of years. And also, I'm not sure what their all-time high was. I think it was like $3 and something. I don't see it going back to that all-time high before Bitcoin does even crazier numbers also. So it kind of depends on where you want to put your eggs at. If you're holding still from the all-time high, I would say get out of it. But if you're not holding from the all-time high and you're just looking to see, hey, can I make some moves with it? Yeah, they'll be around. They'll be around. Jump Out Girls, what's going on? Just saw Jump Out Girls in the chat. Really quick, MicroStrategy buys $4.6 billion of Bitcoin as prices hit the new highs. Again, that is definitely helping with the Monday morning pump we're seeing here. They acquired an additional 51,780 Bitcoin, now worth $4.6 billion, boosting the total holdings to 331,200 Bitcoin as the Bitcoin prices hit record highs above 92,400. And again, it was even crazier. Could you imagine if there weren't 100,000 other cryptocurrencies? Right now, Bitcoin would, like, more or less, like, on top of my head, what, $300,000 Bitcoin right now? Easily. So, wow. I mean, just wow. The price could just be inflated. When you get rid of the futures market, Bitcoin ETFs, ETF options, every other altcoin out there, you're looking at a $300,000 Bitcoin right now. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Long way we've come. But again, really quick, MicroStrategy and their latest acquisition. They purchased 331,200 Bitcoin total at an aggregate cost of $16.5 billion with an average price of $49,874. They used proceeds from a share sale under a sales agreement with companies like TD Securities made on October 30th to acquire thousands of new Bitcoin. So that is the way the corporations are playing. It makes sense. I mean, hey, they're taking money from this pot and moving it right over to another pot, as I've kind of already said before. You get partnerships going, you get collaborations going when it comes to hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. And before it even hits the bank account, you're saying, nope, give it to Coinbase or give it to whoever else. Let's flip this over to some Bitcoin. It makes sense. Let me see what's going on in the comments really quick before these last couple of stories get covered. Power of Nine was going on. Armand Moss. Hyben said Brad Garlinghouse will sell again and bring the price back down. I wouldn't doubt to see something happen. Like, I don't think it's going to be smooth selling for sure. Duncan, I haven't finished it. No, it's been a few things he sent me, so I haven't finished all the Reggie documents, but I'll let you all know when I will. What else do we have? Let's see. Oh, I had to check that out, dear bit. I haven't seen that, but I'm definitely going to see that. Said good morning to Simon, Aaron, and children. Check that out. All right, the last couple of stories right now. No, this was a pretty funny story. Essentially, the Winklevoss twin. He said, "Listen, it's already blood in the streets, so it's up. It's stuck. It's not coming down." He said, "I'm not trying to be cool. It's no peace, no peace signs, no flags, none of that. He don't want nobody copping pleas right now. No apology can undo the damage Gary Gensler has caused." Tyler Winklevoss said, "Let's be clear on one thing. Gary Gensler is evil," Tyler Winklevoss said in a detailed thread about the SEC chair amid resignation rumors. I also agree. A resignation isn't enough. I mean, and I can speak personally just from my point of view from running a crypto business and everything like that. Like, not only did he make it incredibly difficult, I mean, you have to worry about every little thing you do. He's wrongfully imprisoned people. People are still in prison from like some of the rules and laws he's enforced or just created out of thin air. Companies have went under because of him. People have lost tons of money. People continue to lose money. So whether you're paying for lawyers and like litigation or actually losing money because of him saying that this is not something that we're regulating or this is something that's considered a security and not or whatever. So it's just so much damage that he has done to the industry and individuals in the industry. I would have to agree with this. No apology can't undo the damage that has been done already. So yeah, just resigning will be even bigger slap in the face, which I can actually see happening. Is this is so messed up? I can see it happening. Gary Gensler resigning on a Friday and literally on Monday working at Coinbase or working at one of the larger crypto firms. Do you know? Like, oh my goodness, I mean, the I would actually agree with what Reggie said on Friday. Then, as far as like this whole thing is hijacked, it's the game is being played over and over again. Honestly, I can't see that happening. It's going to happen. Like, right, you resign, everybody's angry at you, and then when the top companies say, "Hey, I mean, he does know about the whole industry he just created when it comes to restricting crypto and Bitcoin and how dangerous it can get and what ways around it or what wording you may want to use." So yes, this is Gemini Exchange co-founder Tyler Winklevoss, who's actually been grilled before by a couple of different media companies as far as what exactly has Gary Gensler done that was so wrong. Where I'm sure at the time he didn't have the correct wording and like things to note, but he was like very clear as far as like, hey, if you're in the industry, which I would agree with. But Tyler Winklevoss has asserted that the harm inflicted on the crypto industry by Gary Gensler, chair of the US SEC, is irreparable. The statement comes amid growing speculation that Gensler might step down from his position. Let's all be clear on one thing. Gary Gensler is evil, Winklevoss declared on November 15th X post. He should never again have a position of influence, power, or consequence, Winklevoss added. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. Winklevoss remarks following growing optimism among crypto market participants that Gensler, a well-known crypto skeptic, may resign after Trump's win in the U.S. presidential election on November 5th. Gensler's behavior cannot be excused as good faith, Winklevoss claims. Again, I will agree with that. Here's the post he actually made. I mean, it's crazy when at this level too, you talk about billionaires and he's calling them out publicly saying this guy is evil, which again, I will agree with, unless he has some master plan to protect the industry, but it looked like he just wanted to protect bankers. He should never again, as he said, has that position of influence, power, or consequence. Any company, university, or organization that hires or works with him post SEC is betraying the crypto industry and should be boycotted aggressively. I agree with that. The only way, is that what we put? This the only way to prevent this kind of misuse of government power from happening again in the future. And I think this is all super nice and polite way of doing things. But I agree. Now, again, I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think he'll have to follow through with those boycotts, and he may even see people he thought were his allies or friends, be disingenuous because, again, love him or hate him, he is the SEC chair. He has been the SEC chair. So as soon as he stops, I mean, he's hot on the market. He hasn't committed any real, or in general, he hasn't committed any crimes, I guess. Ones we can readily prove. We could say he's, came at this in a fraudulent way. But unless we're going to see all these banking emails that were geared to him, and even then, he could say these are my constituents. So, I mean, it's not like he committed any crime. So, he's worked at a powerful position in the federal government. He understands how the federal government works. Yeah, I can see many companies picking him up. So they'll have to follow through that boycott and that feeling of how evil he is in the companies and colleges and whoever else that decide to have him again. They'll have to follow through with that. So that part will be interesting. But again, it's funny to see this in crypto where it's like billionaires calling out other powerful people or millionaires and stuff. And they're like, no, Not only do I not like this person's evil. You should boycott them. I don't want to see him at no university. I don't want to see you at the b-ball game. I don't want to skate with you. None of that. All right. He is like, this guy does not get his skate away unscathed. He wants the world to know that nothing can ever undo his wrongdoings, which again, I will agree with. He's done this as it says here. It meant nuking an industry, tens of thousands of jobs, people livelihoods, billions of invested capital, and more ironically, his sociopathic ambition ended up torching his own political party, echoing a similar sentiment to Winklevoss Consensus CEO Joseph Lubin recently told Cointelegraph, "We've been living in a gaslit world for a long time, generously gaslit by the SEC." So yes, a lot of people do not like this guy. And I would agree because, like I said, he has destroyed this industry or tried to. I felt the effects of the SEC's wrath as far as how they're operating in the industry as a business as well as other people. So hopefully this ends. But again, wouldn't surprise me if come the new year, even with the new administration, we see the same or more because this is still the federal government. So we will see. Hyman said this is exactly what happened in the show Billions. The guy from the SEC started working as the risk manager for Wags and Axelrod. Exactly. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it past anybody. Fred the raccoon is going to match Peanut. It's my long shot. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Oh, the Red Nugent Crypto News. What up, though, CB? What I will say is I was walking up the street the other day here in LA, and there was a huge raccoon at night that just popped out on me. He kind of was just standing there. I just left a donut place, so I think he's used to people leaving a donut place and dropping stuff or just begging. And I was like, no, like this is the problem now. He was too big to be begging. He almost ran up on me for some donuts. I got scared. So this raccoon thing was pretty funny. Armand Moss said, I will put money on the fact that Gary Gensler will be working with BlackRock upon leaving the SEC. I would not doubt that. That's actually a company I can see that can afford him. He's going to be like Roger Clemens. He won't have to work there all the time. Just on the big days, the big cases come around, show face for some conferences, and then disappear here and there. So I can see that happening. Make sure that he's their eyes and ears in the federal government, because here's the most powerful thing about him as well. Unless it's just like hate, and even then, even if it's hate, there has to be turnover. Whoever his replacement will have a relationship with him, which means he will have a relationship with the chairman of the SEC or the chairwoman, whoever, the chairperson of the SEC. No matter how you cut it, he'll have a relationship with them because, again, whether they love him or hate him, when it's time to say, all right, he's resigning or he's fired, unless it's just all bad, where it's just like, no, we found something so illegal and so immoral and so wrong that we're going to arrest you right now. We don't want to hear from you again. Like, this is dark type of stuff, which I doubt, and it doesn't look like something like that is going to happen. So unless it's something like that, on his exit, he's going to have to say, hey, there's some things you might not know about the job. These are the people you can call. You can expect these meetings on these days, XYZ, for the next 2 to 3 months, or at least 30 days, right? At least 2 weeks, but it's probably gonna be like 3-month process of this is how you effectively do this job. Now, what you decide to do with this job, or how you decide to rule on things, or what you decide to sign or not, whatever. But here are the dates of these signatures that are going to be due. So my point is that makes him super valuable, that he'll be leaving, and now they're going to be like, he has a relationship with this new person. So just a multi-billion-dollar company that's in every country, whatever, their thought process is going to be, this could be many companies, but their thought process is going to be, all I need Gary to do is to give me this introduction. I will give him 3 years, $15 million to just introduce me to the current SEC chair. And if it takes him 3 years to do that, to introduce me and to give me this dinner or this lunch, it'll be worth every penny of that $15 million, because at that dinner or lunch is when I'm going to do what I need to do with this person. So for sure, he's definitely going to be sought after. And the Winklevoss would definitely have to stand on that business of making sure he's not being regurgitated through our community, which, again, I do agree with. Last but not least, Dogecoin investor lawsuit against Elon Musk has been dropped. That is right. Listen, a 2022 class action lawsuit filed against Elon Musk and Tesla, alleging that the businessman manipulated the price of Dogecoin through media appearances and social media posts, was withdrawn by the plaintiffs on November 14, 2024. Now, I will say this. Well, let me finish this. According to legal filing, the plaintiffs have agreed to withdraw their appeal from the Second Circuit Court of Appeals and not seek any post-judgment relief from Musk and the automotive company. Lawyers for the investors also waived the right to appeal the case in any U.S. court, and both sides have agreed to drop motions to sanction the other side over the lawsuits. This was whack about this. First, as crazy as Elon Musk has been and Doge, all that good stuff, and is it market manipulation or not? They did say it was like that for McAfee, so it's interesting that it wasn't for him. That's all I was really pointing out. But I didn't agree with this lawsuit to begin with. This is why we have over regulation in the space, is because people like this brought this on, because they couldn't win with the meme coin, which had no technical value or anything to it. And actually, shout out to Elon Musk. He's keeping the joke alive and doing what Dogecoin is for. So yes, because people couldn't win at the right time, they say, well, now we're going to sue him and his company, which brings lawyers in, which brings in the government to say, fine, you all can't police yourselves. Maybe we need to regulate and police you all. And now you have regulators and all this other stuff getting involved into a market because some newbies came in and tried to hit the lottery, essentially. They're mad at because they couldn't hit the lottery. But now, because he's continued the joke and the price is skyrocketed again, now they're like, okay, we'll withdraw the lawsuit. We'll keep playing the lottery. Lottery's fun. He's made it fun again. It's fair. Like, these are the people who are what's wrong with the market right now. If anything, I would love to see regulatory action be taken against the people who tried to sue him at this point, because they are wasting everyone's time and money, and essentially putting a target on this market, all because they couldn't win the meme coin lottery. But because their little bags are starting to be worth something again, they're like, okay, let's leave them alone, let them run. Absolutely insane. Yes, Keith, fun. I can't say. I was going to try. No, Junior, pardon me if I mispronounced it, said Doge started going up and they said, never mind. That is exactly what happened. I mean, that's just shaking my damn head. Can we find the names of these people and just troll them? I mean, they need to be trolled to hell and back. But honestly, they're probably so shameless, they wouldn't even care and would appreciate the attention. And that's what we're looking at in this market at times. And that's the frustrating part, is it does get away from the technology and just gets into the mania of doing things. But I will say, you can appreciate the mania. You have no other choice, because it is here and it is direct, as that fear and greed index is at an 83, 84 still. All right. Other than that, that is the show for today. All right. So tomorrow I will be gone. I'll be shooting tomorrow and possibly Wednesday, depending on when I get back. But I expect me back by Wednesday, if not Thursday. I will have some more crypto news for you. Make sure you smash that like